What is up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be reacting to the greatest NASCAR debut in modern history. I am looking forward to this one. I feel like this one has been in my requests for a while, or I found the video and then I never got round to it, and then one of my Patreon members just requested this video, so I'm going to react to it now. Seems about right because I feel like it's been sat in my going to watch next list for months. So yeah, I do love, every time I've done a video from this channel, it has always been really good, so I'm looking forward to getting to this video. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe. Over half of you that watch my videos still aren't subscribed. Just hit the bell, it takes 2 seconds, and if you'd like to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. Austin. Okay.
In March 2023, the Circuit of the Americas played host to the NASCAR Cup Series. 39 drivers competing for the dub and a berth on victory lane. Though they weren't all the usual suspects, for there were 2 Formula 1 world champions competing that weekend.
What?
One of them was Jenson Button, who did well enough despite not being bestowed with the greatest of great material, and a couple of positions further up the field.
Kimi Räikkönen.
And the number 91 Chevrolet.
My fave.
Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi was there courtesy of the Project 91 campaign, which was aimed at luring international talent to the series, expanding the profile of NASCAR, and proving to the elite drivers of the world that there was more to stock car racing than just turning left and punching Joey Logano. Kimi withheld the urge to do that, and instead put on a decent enough showing that day in Austin. For Justin Marks, the owner of Trackhouse Racing, who the Project 91 campaign runs under, this was just the start. He wanted to bring in the best of the best from around the world. But obviously, NASCAR Cup cars are a long way away from a Formula 1 car. I mean, it's like comparing Usain Bolt to Roger Ebert. So the next time Project 91...
Again, fair point there.
...would not be behind the wheel.
Oh.
Instead, they recruited someone else. Entirely.
Australia.
Over in the Supercars series in Australia, Big Brody Kostecki was looking set for victory, and then his rearview mirrors showed him a truly horrifying sight.
Who is it? I'm scared. I don't know who this video is about.
By the Red Bull Camaro, his championship rival, and right now, his worst enemy. After some...
Oh my! They're bashing.
His 3rd win of the year. It would have been his 4th had someone not left too much ice in his car in the opening race in Newcastle. But either way, over in this part of the world, the sight of this man winning races was just way too freaking common. It was kind of a procession. He would be a...
Oh, it's SVG, okay. Just saw the name on the car, it's like, oh, okay.
Laps he would shatter everyone's dreams, scythe on through, and take his inevitable win. Just the year prior, he won 21 out of 34 races.
21 out of 34 races, that's incredible.
Series is. And of course he's from New Zealand, not a part of Australia, and yes, we are a real country, and yes, this accent is real too. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Motorsport knows that this dude can win in almost anything. GT cars? No problem. Sprint cars? Sure thing. Rally cars? Yeah, that too. Open wheelers? What do you think? Drifting? Yaha. I've said it before.
Wow, he's done everything.
And he will make it dance. I can yak on for ages about the stuff that this guy has done, but the crucial thing that you need to know at this juncture is that to drive, supercars were the closest thing to a cup car, at least at that high level. So picking the creme de la creme of the field to try out these monsters.
I was gonna say, they look the most similar.
And Justin Marks knew this too. On the 18th of May 2023, it was announced that Trackhouse would use the Project 91 entry to give a NASCAR Cup Series debut to Shane Van Gisbergen.
Okay.
Or, as some of the more obtuse Americans called him.
Whatever his name is. SVG? Van Burger, I don't know.
Hamburger.
Yes, so Shane Van Hamburglar would be getting his debut in NASCAR. For some people in this part of the world, this was a long time coming. Almost an inevitability if that doesn't sound way too pretentious. But of course, this was just a one-off event. Project 91 had only been run twice previously, and both times by Kimi Räikkönen. This really was a once-in-a-blue-moon affair, and right from the start, Marks and the team at Trackhouse knew exactly where to make it happen.
Did they? Chicago. Great.
Time in the history of NASCAR, a race would take place on city streets.
Wow.
I know. The sophisticated racers over in Europe had been racing on streets since, well, film existed. But hey, late bloomer or not, at least these guys got the ball rolling at long last. The track started on South Columbus Drive before hanging a left onto East Balbo, then right onto South Lakeshore, where the bumps and the kink in the road could unsettle anybody who got a little bit too romantic with the throttle.
And this was for NASCAR, right? surely aren't these like corners going to be a bit too narrow for stock cars?
Back on to East Balbo,
Right.
effectively giving the track a mirror image effect. Then the track would squiggle around some more, running over every bump the fine folks of Chicago could muster.
Like, you're probably not going to get the best out of a stock car with this circuit, this kind of track.
Wasn't much in the way of runoffs, and no one had any data of this track apart from a laser scan version on iRacing. The teams and drivers were heading into this weekend blind. Well, almost all of them. Very few of those drivers had ever driven on a street course before. None of them, really, in a racing car quite like this.
Right.
Well, almost none of them. See, that supercar series has a calendar where almost half the tracks they travel to are street courses. Shane Van Gisbergen,
Oh, so he had the upper hand.
challenged, was used to this type of environment. This would have played right into his hands, and he did have some time testing the car in the days leading up to the race, with extensive preparation at Trackhouse. But then again, it shouldn't have been a walk in the park. Regardless of the inexperience on street courses, the drivers of the Cup Series was still good. Really damn good. Don't let the stereotype of rednecks running around in circles fool you. All these drivers can pedal a car, and a few of them are lethal on road courses even by the highest standards. And they have to be, given how there have been more and more road courses added to the schedule in the
I was going to say, there's quite a few road courses now.
Jenson Button, Kimi Räikkönen, and Daniel Kvyat coming over to the series in the last couple of years. They didn't win anything, so even with SVG's extensive experience on street courses, there was no guarantee he would win.
So, did he do well?
And it sounds far-fetched in hindsight, but my point remains. Those NASCAR Cup drivers,
I'm so confused. I'm like, did he do well or not?
Van Gisbergen was leading the way by 3/10 over Denny Hamlin.
Was
He has
he?
hit the ground running, exactly what he needed to.
Did he crash the car or something? This is giving me false hope.
His ability to hang it close to the walls, and the island brush dance he performed on the pedals under brakes. All of this translated into speed, and that in turn translated to third on the
Third?
grid. By the time qualifying was done, some would have been a little bit gutted by this.
Oh, come on, not pole position?
And yeah, with this
You got pole.
was a slight letdown. For others down the grid though, it gave them a little bit of hope, but those that were all too familiar with his winning ways, far from concerned. We all kind of went,
Oh, shit.
Here we go again.
race day came, and so did the rain. You know,
Oh, the rain came.
like the weather? Wait an hour. And that's pretty much what NASCAR did. The race was delayed by an hour, but eventually the flood passed and now they went racing.
Did they?
Immediately, the wet weather conditions were catching people out.
Yeah, look at that. Oh.
Eric Jones pulled off a 3-in-1 combo that included his teammate, although, as we'll see later, he doesn't need much help when it comes to finding the tyre barriers. And Kyle Busch lodged his Camaro so far
Oh, of course Carl Busch lost it. That man has no luck.
at the pace car, only a couple of laps into the race. Where was SVG in all of this? He was still in third,
Oh, he was
but
still
now
in
behind
third.
Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. He kept a watching brief as Reddick and Bell fought over the lead, for those two could sense that they had a little bit of hope to take the dub that day. Their cars were going well, and they were driving well. A few laps later, someone who was not driving well, maybe having run out of drivers to fight, Noah Gragson slammed into the wall as well, and bought out the pace car. Wouldn't be the last time we see that today. At the end of stage 1, Bell still led, and Van Gisbergen was still in third. Jenson Button, meanwhile, was facing the wrong way, courtesy of an unhelping hand by Chris Buescher.
Poor guy just wanted to pit, damn it.
By this stage, most people were beginning to pit for slick tyres, despite half the track still being underwater. Although wet tyres, slick tyres, whatever he was on, Noah Gragson knew that practice makes perfect, and slammed into the same place in the same tyre barrier again, and
course he
brought out
did.
the pace car. Again. I
Again.
can't say that this guy's race has been terribly great so far, or even his whole Cup career. Then again, Shane Van Gisbergen's restart wasn't great either, completely asleep, and fell behind Reddick, and then behind Kyle Larson, then behind Daniel Suarez.
What?
Unbeknownst to a lot of people watching, he felt that he had no grip, owing to low pressures in his tyres, and then the comms stopped working.
What? I thought this was going to be like a Shane masterclass.
These dudes can pedal a car good, both left and right. His drowning was stopped momentarily when Alex Bowman brought out 2 cautions, one for being punted into the
Oh.
Shadow Realm, and another for his engine developing a case of death. So, heading into stage 3, Shane van Gisbergen had stagnated in 3rd, couldn't really keep pace with the leaders, and then got thrown down the order like a kid who got picked off for lunch money. Exactly how is this meant to be the greatest NASCAR debut in modern history? Well, there was still a long way to go in this race, and hey, if your hang-up is that he's only running 3rd in the top tier of NASCAR in his debut, your standards may be a bit too
Yeah, I was going to say, that is doing, like, well for your debut, but the way he was building me up at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a masterclass from him, can't lie.
Indy City was soon to be shrouded in darkness, and thus, NASCAR shortened the race to make sure that drivers were not going to be running around in the pitch black. Either that, or they wanted to cull the race before Noah Gragson had a chance to crash again. Although I'm not sure why they would need that, because after all,
race cars don't need headlights.
Because the track is always lit.
you know what you get on this channel, with 25 laps to go.
I love cars.
Except, not in the order you might be expecting, because Shane van Gisbergen did make a pit stop along with the other leaders under that pace car. But not everybody did, with some banking on a shortened race on old tyres. That left a mad jumbled grid on the restart, with Justin Haley leading the way. Where was van Gisbergen?
Where was he? 18th!
With such a limited amount of laps
What?
left and a lot of ground to make up, SVG began making moves. And now it was like, oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. In one corner, he passed 8 cars. Although
What? Oh, okay. I was going to say, why? 8 cars.
after the caution was thrown, all those cars in the makeshift downtown Chicago parking lot got their spots back for the restart. So
No
SVG
way.
was thrown back down to 18th with even less laps remaining.
Are you
He was
kidding?
going to need a little bit of luck.
They all just piled up in the car. I can't get over what I just saw there.
Gregson crashed again.
Oh, of course he
Serves
did.
him right for sporting this haircut. Nah. SVG was going to need someone more important to crash.
Christopher Bell.
Bell was left stranded on the side of the road after neglecting to brake for turn 1. Thrown down the order, it left one less car for SVG to pass. Make that 2 actually, since Tyler Reddick
Oh. Reddit crash as well.
6 tyre wall. With 20 laps to go, I happened to glance at the leaderboard out of curiosity to see where Shane was at this point. He was in 8th. He
8th?
passed 10 cars in a little under 6 laps.
That is impressive. On a street circuit for stock cars. Fair play.
Don't really need to spell it out for you, don't I? 15
might
laps to go
win.
and the race restarts. Shane begins making moves immediately. Austin Dillon, perhaps sensing the impending wave of doom looming large, starts pushing Haley for position.
Oh. Boom.
Yeah, he pushed too much. Somehow, remarkably, we avoided a caution, and now it was Haley leading, Chase Elliott 2nd, Kyle Busch 3rd, Logano 4th, and Shane van Gisbergen in 5th.
5th.
Make that 4th.
4th.
Make that
3rd.
3rd. Yeah, you're all cooked now. There really didn't seem to be
gonna
much
win.
hope for them. Shane
Okay, this actually was a bit of a masterclass. I took it back. How has he done that? 18th to 1st. What is he going to get first? I assume so.
He was being hounded by the enhanced health Camaro. Not for long though. Up to 2nd. He's all over the back of Haley. Down to turn 7. Down the inside.
Oh, and there he goes.
For the 308th billionth time today, the pace car was out after Martin Truex Jr.'s front brake rotors went on strike and left the 2017 champion to fend for himself. And Haley would get back his lead. Saved by the bell there. With 5 laps remaining, Shane just had to remain calm. Ish. Plenty of time to take the lead, but also plenty of time to mess it up.
He's
These
got
cup
this.
drivers are feisty on the restart.
I have hope. After what I just saw and how he just overtook everybody there, he's going to get it.
They will actually fight for their position.
Yeah.
The restart. Turn 2. Down the inside. To the lead. For about 4 seconds, Haley kept him honest, ultra aggressive, and by the kink, he was back into the lead. But Shane saw that coming, performed the switchback, retook the lead, and
course
from
he did the
there,
switchback.
it was goodbye. All of what we just saw there, that was proper racing. Something almost
Yeah.
completely alien in Formula 1 nowadays. Yes, I may be
Not anymore. Not anymore. We've got good racing this year. I think this video came out like a year ago, so...
Although, for Justin Haley, however awesome he was in leading for as long as he did, and it was a good drive, there was just no way he was going to claw back Van Gisbergen now. Not unless there was another caution. And luckily for him, that's exactly what he would get after Bubba Wallace sent a McDive bomb down into turn 1.
McDive
The
bomb.
race was going to overtime.
Overtime.
The sun was setting on Chicago, and streetlights were beginning to dawn the racetrack. The first street race in NASCAR Cup history. You would have to call it an overall success. Some great wheel-to-wheel, bumper-to-bumper action. For Shane, at that moment, might have been a little bit at peace with himself. He had already made an impression. To come in and perform like he's done now, whatever happens now, no one will forget that. And for Justin Marks, the Project 91 campaign was justified. It had served its purpose in a big way.
Yeah, it had.
Wasn't over yet though. He still did have to hold off Justin Haley and Chase Elliott, both of whom are desperate for a win this year, and both of whom are certainly worthy of one. The race restarted and nothing happened. He charged away, not looking in the slightest bit phased, and after
I got chills.
and Gisbergen crossed the line,
And he won. Wow.
first New Zealander to win in the Cup Series.
Yeah, let's go.
The first Supercars graduate to win since Marcus Ambrose, and the first driver to win on debut since Johnny Rutherford in 1963. So how the hell did SPG win on debut in a series so competitive?
Yeah.
Well, there were a variety of factors. First off, his experience. Yes, that does sound a bit of an oxymoron given it was his debut. It's a bit like those job listings where they ask for 3 years experience in a junior position.
Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me just get in my time machine
I was
real
gonna
quick.
say.
But of all the drivers in the field, his experience on street circuits trumped them all.
Yeah, he did have like supercar street circuit experience, so
He could run to the walls and in cars like this, because ultimately, these next-gen cup cars are not far off of what a modern-day V8 supercar
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
patterns, and in are the 5-speed sequentials. Independent rear suspension has come into play too, very similar to what Shane is used to back in the land of kangaroos and AU Falcons. Having said that, there were a lot of differences that he had to get used to, so there is a bit of evening out to do there. Third reason behind his success? The team. Trackhouse are a good team. We have seen their successes with Danny Suarez and Ross Chastain. It is
Yeah.
a good outfit that can win races and ride walls. So Shane had the material under him, but the
Love
fourth
it.
and perhaps biggest reason behind his success? Him.
Him,
Now,
yeah.
after the race was done, drivers like Kyle Larson were worried that SPG was going to go back to Australia and proclaim how easy it was to win, and about how all the drivers in America suck, and that
Rude.
NASCAR is full of hicks and blah 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 blah. Well, this business of SPG making everyone look stupid is not a new thing. He does the exact same thing in the Supercar series. He's just that damn good at driving anything he's ever given. Are there any other Supercars drivers that could do the same? I mean, Grapple. We've seen drivers from all across the world try their hand here. Very few find success. And you would imagine that with more miles to come, that Shane Van Gisbergen can only get better. A lot of people out there question whether he could repeat these efforts again, or even be half as good on an oval. Some say even that it would be impossible. I mean, no doubt adjusting full time will take time, but impossible? Really? With
not.
what we've seen from this guy over the years, his adaptability, his versatility, is that really a question that you want answered?
No.
I don't know. Or maybe I've just jinxed him in a violent way. We've already had a glimpse into what he could do, and whatever happens from this day on, he'll always have this, the greatest debut in modern.
Yeah, what a debut that is. That was a really good video. At the beginning, he was like hyping up this debut, like showing the like prep for the race and everything. And he kept saying like he would do this, he would do. I'm like, is it gonna be a good debut or not? And then he had a few moments during the race, and I thought, where is this good debut gonna come? Like, he was sat in third for like the majority of the race, which on a debut that's insane. And then when he went from like 18th to first, it was incredible. So yeah, I had no idea that he had such a huge successful debut like that. And with that being said, if you have any other videos that you'd like me to react to, drop them down in the comments and work my way through everybody's suggestions at the moment. If you did want to check out any of my other socials or become a Patreon member and get early access to videos like this or top priority over your suggestions, then you can do all of that down below. And if you want to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. But I hope you enjoyed today's reaction, and I will catch you next time for the next one. Bye.